Counting by tens. Students will be learning to count by tens forward and backwards. Stop the video often to practice the counting sequence. You must repeat the sequence 3 times in a row without any errors before going on to the next page. 10, 20, 30. Now say the sequence to yourself 3 times in a row without any errors. Be sure to stop the video and practice this sequence. Say these numbers now: 10, 20, 30, 30, 20, 10. Repeat the sequence 3 times in a row without any errors. Make sure you know them well before going on to the next page. Now let's add 3 more numbers. Write them down as you say them. Repeat them 3 times in a row without any errors to your parents, guardians, or siblings. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Practice, practice, practice. Stop the videos. Make sure you know them cold. Now let's start counting by tens, forward and backwards. Forwards: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And backwards: 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Say them at a steady rate. This is not a race. Write them down and say them over and over till you know the sequence well. Be sure to stop the video to practice the sequencing. Let's add 3 more numbers: 70, 80, 90. Practice counting these 3 numbers: 70, 80, 90. Say them over and over until you know the sequence of these 3 numbers really well. Practice saying them in group sets of 3s: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Stop the video and practice. Practice saying them in group sets of 3s 3 times in a row and without any errors. Now let's say them forward and backwards in group sets of 3s: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Practice a sequence of 3s, saying them forward. When you are ready, let's say them backwards in groups of 3s: 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. As you say the sequence, write them down. Now say them orally to your parents, guardians, or siblings. Always stop the video to practice, practice, and practice. Now let's take a timeout to practice a sequence of 10 to 90 and 90 to 10. Always practice saying them in group sets of 3s. It's easier to remember numbers in group sets of 3s: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Say the sequence both forward and backwards to your mom, your dad, your guardians, your aunt, your uncle, your brothers, your sisters, your teacher. When you have recited counting by tens to everyone, you are now ready for the final 3 numbers. The final 3 numbers: 100, 110, 120. Practice counting these numbers: 100, 110, 120. Write them down and practice, practice, practice. Counting the 3 numbers: 100, 110, 120, lots. Practice counting the numbers forward from 10 to 120 in group sets of 3s: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Practice counting the numbers forward to your parents, your guardians, your siblings. When you can say the counting sequence of 10's 3 times in a row without any errors, you are ready for the next page, your final counting of 10's assignment. Your final counting assignment. Practice counting forward by 10's in group sets of 3 numbers: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Say the forward sequence of 10's to your friends, your mom, your dad, your guardians. Now practice counting by 10's backwards: 120, 110, 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. You are now ready to practice the counting sequence of 10's both forward and backwards. When you can count by 10's from 10 to 120 and from 120 to 10, 3 times in a row without any errors, you are now ready for the big test. The big test, counting by 10's. First test, count from 10 to 120 without any assistance from your parents, guardians, or siblings, 3 times in a row and without any errors. Test number 2, count backwards from 120 to 10 without any assistance from your parents, guardians, or siblings, 3 times in a row and without any errors. And finally, test number 3, count forward and backwards by 10's from 10 to 120 and from 120 to 10, 3 times in a row, to your parents, guardians, or siblings, without any assistance and without any errors. Congratulations, you have mastered the counting sequence of 10's, both forward and backwards. You are now ready to advance to Grandpa Ken's Timetables, Program 3, the Rookie Level, learning the multiplication facts of 10's. Parents wishing to follow along with the written support material, please go to www.123math.ca. This 250-plus page download program contains charts, flashcards, step-by-step instructions, all the exercises, audio tapes, and more. If you have questions about these YouTube videos, you may write to whittigoo@gmail.com. Visiting 123math.ca will provide an overview of the purpose and teaching techniques of these YouTube videos. We want every student to have an equal opportunity to learn their timetables. If there is a positive response, I intend to produce about 30 videos to assist students to master their multiplication tables based on the 123math.ca program design. For whatever reason, too many students are entering high school not knowing their multiplication facts. I feel every effort should be provided to ensure that as many students as possible master their timetables by the end of grade 6 or sooner.